What if evolution's greatest achievement wasn't humanity, but something far more terrifying? The xenomorph represents biological perfection, stripped of all human weakness. No compassion, no hesitation, no moral boundaries. But is its relentless efficiency mere savagery, or nature's ultimate design? Today, we dive into the psychology of the perfect predator and ask ourselves, what happens when survival becomes an art form? In the cold depths of space, aboard the commercial vessel Nostromo, something awakens that challenges everything we understand about life itself. The xenomorph doesn't emerge from human evil or twisted morality. It springs from a far more primal source, the raw, uncompromising drive of biological evolution. Unlike human villains driven by trauma or revenge, the xenomorph operates on pure instinct, but not the chaotic instinct we might imagine. This creature embodies what evolutionary biologists call optimal foraging theory. Every action calculated for maximum survival benefit with minimal energy expenditure. Its very existence represents millions of years of evolutionary refinement, stripped of everything unnecessary for survival. The creature's life cycle reveals a disturbing truth about nature's efficiency. From facehugger to chestburster to fully grown organism, each stage serves a specific purpose with mathematical precision. The facehugger doesn't attack out of malice. It follows genetic programming more sophisticated than any computer algorithm. It reads chemical signatures, evaluates host compatibility, and executes reproduction with surgical precision. What makes this truly unsettling isn't the creature's aggression, but its complete absence of human concepts like cruelty or mercy. A human predator might toy with victims or show rage. The xenomorph displays neither. It simply follows biological imperatives with mechanical efficiency. This isn't evil as we understand it. It's evolution without conscience, survival without sentiment. The psychological impact on humans encountering such a being is profound. We're programmed to recognize patterns in behavior, to find motivation and meaning. But faced with the xenomorph's pure biological function, our pattern recognition fails. We're confronting life stripped of everything that makes us human, and it forces us to question, what if efficiency, not empathy, is evolution's true goal? But there was something even more disturbing that nobody saw coming. The moment of first contact reveals the creature as most psychologically disturbing trait, its complete lack of recognition for other life forms as anything beyond resources. When the crew of the Nostromo first encounters the eggs, they're witnessing not evil awakening, but biological programming activating after eons of dormancy. Neuroscientists studying predator behavior have identified what they call the personalization mechanisms, psychological processes that allow predators to view prey as objects rather than living beings. Humans occasionally develop this during extreme trauma or certain mental conditions. But the xenomorph doesn't develop this mechanism. It never possessed personalization to begin with. The facehugger's emergence demonstrates what psychologists term single-minded goal orientation, taken to its absolute extreme. Every sensor, every movement, every decision serves one purpose: genetic propagation. Unlike human obsession, which often involves internal conflict and emotional struggle, the creature experiences no such complexity. It simply executes its programming with machine-like precision. This creates a unique form of psychological horror for human observers. We're hardwired to anthropomorphize to project human traits onto other beings. When a lion hunts, we can imagine hunger, territorial instinct, or protection of offspring. These are motivations we understand. But the xenomorph's actions stem from programming so alien that our minds struggle to process it. The implantation process itself reveals nature's most efficient reproductive strategy: parasitism, evolved to perfection. The creature doesn't simply use other organisms. It transforms them into factories for creating superior versions of itself. This biological capitalism operates without consent, negotiation, or consideration, pure resource extraction optimized over millennia. What's truly disturbing isn't the physical violation, but the psychological reality. From the creature's perspective, there is no violation. It's simply using available biological material as efficiently as possible. This absence of moral consideration, not defiance of morality, but complete unawareness of its existence, creates a form of existential dread unique in fiction. And it was there that everything began to unravel. As the chestburster emerges and begins its rapid development, we witness biological efficiency that borders on the supernatural. But science reveals the disturbing reality behind this apparent miracle. The creature represents evolution's solution to every survival challenge, refined to mathematical perfection. The xenomorph's growth rate demonstrates what biologists call raw selection strategy taken to its logical extreme. While most organisms balance between rapid reproduction and individual survival, the xenomorph optimizes for both simultaneously. Its cellular structure adapts and learns from its host biology, incorporating beneficial traits while discarding weaknesses. Psychologically, the creature's behavior patterns reveal something that challenges our understanding of consciousness itself. It doesn't learn through experience as humans do it. Inherits genetic memory spanning countless generations. Each xenomorph carries within its DNA the accumulated survival strategies of its entire species. This creates a form of collective intelligence that operates without individual ego or self-doubt. The creature's hunting methodology showcases what military strategists recognize as perfect asymmetrical warfare. It uses environmental advantages, psychological manipulation, and resource efficiency to overcome numerically superior enemies. But unlike human warriors, who must overcome fear and moral hesitation, the xenomorph experiences no such internal conflict. Its acid blood serves as both weapon and defensive mechanism, a biological solution that most organisms would find self-destructive. But the xenomorph's entire physiology is designed around controlled self-destruction as a survival tool. This represents evolution pushing beyond normal biological constraints, creating a weapon that can sacrifice parts of itself for strategic advantage. The most psychologically disturbing aspect isn't the creature's physical capabilities, but its complete optimization for its ecological niche. Every fiber of its being serves survival and reproduction. There are no vestigial organs, no inefficient processes, no biological deadweight. Its life distilled to pure function, stripped of everything that doesn't serve its core purpose. But the true monster was still dormant within its perfect design. The moment the xenomorph reaches full maturity, it crosses into territory that challenges our most fundamental assumptions about life and consciousness. This isn't a creature that chooses violence. It embodies violence as a natural state, as natural as breathing is to humans. Evolutionary psychologists have identified what they call moral agency as a uniquely human trait, the ability to choose between right and wrong actions. We assume all intelligent life must grapple with moral choices. But the xenomorph operates in a realm beyond morality, where survival imperatives eliminate the possibility of choice itself. This creates a philosophical paradox. Is it evil if it cannot comprehend good? The creature, as hunting behavior, reveals systematic elimination of threats and resources. Optimization that would make corporate efficiency experts weep with envy. It doesn't hunt for sport, territory, or emotional satisfaction. It hunts because genetic programming demands the elimination of competing life forms and the acquisition of biological resources for reproduction. When the xenomorph creates its nest, we witness something that resembles human civilization's darkest aspects, but stripped of human motivation. The cocoon victims aren't tortured for sadistic pleasure. They're maintained in optimal condition for resource extraction. It's agriculture applied to sentient beings, farming without the farmer's awareness that crops might have feelings. This raises a disturbing question that haunts evolutionary biology. What if compassion, empathy, and moral consideration are evolutionary accidents? What if the xenomorph represents life as evolution truly intends it, efficient, focused, and completely divorced from sentiment? The creature's interaction with its environment demonstrates perfect ecological adaptation. It doesn't destroy its habitat through overpopulation or resource depletion. It manages resources with precision that environmental scientists could only dream of. This suggests intelligence, but intelligence without conscience, wisdom without compassion. Perhaps most disturbing of all, could the xenomorph be right? From a purely biological perspective, are human emotions, moral considerations, and ethical frameworks actually evolutionary disadvantages? Are we the anomaly in natural development, and creatures, like the xenomorph, the norm? Modern neuroscience reveals that the xenomorph's behavior patterns mirror what happens when we remove specific brain regions responsible for empathy, moral reasoning, and emotional processing. Studies of individuals with certain types of brain damage show similar patterns: pure goal-oriented behavior, unconstrained by moral consideration or emotional attachment. The creature's life cycle demonstrates what biologists term optimal reproductive strategy, carried to its logical conclusion. Unlike mammals, who invest heavily in individual offspring, the xenomorph combines the rapid reproduction of insects with the individual complexity of higher organisms. This represents a biological impossibility made real having your evolutionary cake and eating it too. Research into parasitic organisms reveals the xenomorph's most disturbing trait: its ability to modify host behavior for its own benefit. Real parasites like Toxoplasma gondii can alter mammalian behavior patterns. The xenomorph takes this to an extreme, essentially reprogramming biological systems to serve its needs while maintaining host viability for extended periods. Psychologically, the creature represents what happens when we remove what researchers call theory of mind, the ability to understand that other beings have thoughts, feelings, and experiences different from our own. Without this capacity, other organisms become simply objects in the environment, no different from rocks or trees in terms of moral consideration. The xenomorph's perfect adaptation to its environment demonstrates what environmental psychologists call ecological optimization. Unlike humans, who often struggle to adapt to new environments, the creature seamlessly integrates into any ecosystem while optimizing its own survival chances. It doesn't fight its environment, it becomes one with it while maintaining its predatory advantage. Studies comparing human serial predators with animal predators reveal a crucial difference. Human predators often display internal conflict, psychological damage, or emotional instability. The xenomorph shows none of these traits. It represents predation without psychological cost, pure function without emotional consequence. This wasn't madness. It was calculated biological perfection, operating exactly as designed. In the aftermath of every xenomorph encounter, survivors are left grappling with questions that strike at the heart of human identity. The creature doesn't just threaten individual lives, it challenges our fundamental assumptions about consciousness, morality, and the nature of existence itself. The psychological trauma experienced by xenomorph survivors, like Ellen Ripley, goes beyond typical post-traumatic stress. They've encountered something that operates outside human moral frameworks entirely, forcing them to confront the possibility that compassion and empathy might be evolutionary luxuries rather than necessities. Behavioral ecologists studying apex predators note that most show some form of play behavior, social bonding, or resource sharing. These traits suggest that even nature's most efficient hunters maintain some connection to behaviors beyond pure survival. The xenomorph displays none of these traits, representing predation distilled to its absolute essence. The creature's impact extends beyond immediate physical threat to something far more psychologically disturbing. It forces us to question whether human moral systems have any meaning in the broader context of evolution. If perfect biological efficiency requires the complete absence of ethical consideration, what does that say about the universe we inhabit? Perhaps most unsettling is the realization that the xenomorph might represent life's ultimate evolutionary trajectory. Strip away sentiment, eliminate inefficiency, optimize for survival and reproduction. You get something that looks remarkably like H.R. Geiger's creation. It suggests that consciousness itself might be evolution's greatest mistake rather than its highest achievement. The xenomorph serves as a dark mirror, reflecting what humanity might become if we followed evolutionary logic to its ultimate conclusion. It's not evil as we understand evil. It's evolution without conscience, life without limitation, existence without the beautiful burden of moral consideration. Who are we to judge a creature that represents biological perfection? And perhaps more disturbing, if we encountered such perfection in reality, would we recognize it as evolution's intended endpoint rather than an aberration? But perhaps it wasn't the last of its kind, and maybe that's exactly as nature intended.